Boy, she sure hopes that it ain't true. It can't be true, can it? She can't be pregnant. She wonders when did this happen to her, and she is so desperate that she asks the Lord how can she be pregnant. She has no idea of what she should do now, and her mind was so focused on this that she ends up falling down the stairs. Her husband gets back home soon after, and he tries to wake her up. He checks for her vitals, pockets the pregnancy test, and keeps on trying to wake her up. He's not having any success so far, but then she starts to slowly come back to consciousness. She opens her eyes and asks him what happened, so he tells her that he found her lying on the floor, asking her how is she. She thinks that she's fine, that she probably lost her balance and tripped. He asks her if she wants to go to the hospital, that she might have suffered a trauma or something. She quickly declines it, and he's not so sure about it, but she says that she only tripped, that it's nothing serious. He asks her if she's hiding something, but she denies it, asking him why is he asking her that right now. He stands up and tells her that he was just checking. He suddenly asks her if she trusts him, and she says that she does, asking him why is he so serious, if something happened. Nope, he just wants to tell her that he loves her very much, that she knows that she can trust him. He gives her a kiss and starts to leave, and she crumbles as soon as he goes. She's thankful that her friend made it, and she doesn't have to thank her, that's what friends are for. She doesn't know what else to do or how it happened, and her friend tells her that it's very dangerous for her to have a child at her age, asking her if she thought about terminating the pregnancy. She'd never be able to. Then she should talk to Alan so that they both deal with it then. She's sure that this would be the end of their marriage, so her friend asks her what's her plan, that she won't be able to hide that kind of thing. She can only hide it for so long. She has no idea how she should tell Alan about this, that she's sure that it won't work. Well, she has to. It'll be worse if he hears it first once her belly starts to grow. She can count on her for this, but she needs to go now and do her own things, giving her a goodbye kiss and telling her that all will be well in the end. She thanks her for coming, and she says that she only needs to call for her to come, but she's sure that it'll be fine. She lets her true feelings show again once she's alone. She seems quite nervous sitting on that bench in the park. And she thought that he wouldn't show up. She's been waiting for him, and he tells her that he's not like her, that he has things that he needs to do. He wants to know what was her emergency, and she tells him straight that he got her pregnant. He starts to laugh at a really long one. And she says she's serious, but he thinks it's a prank. It's not, she's dead serious. He has to believe her. He says it's impossible, that she's too old to get pregnant. That's new. He never thought she was old in bed. He needs evidence, and she tells him that they can go and she'll do a blood test, that they can find a doctor that they can trust and do it. He doesn't want that, he just wants for her to be sure that he's the father and not her husband. He knows that's his, that's been 6 months since she had any intimacy with her husband. He doesn't know what she's asking from him, that he'll not leave his bachelor life for an old woman and a baby. He already told her that he didn't want any kids. Last week he told her that he loves her, that he wanted to marry her. He scoffs at that, telling her that she's old enough to stop being so naive. He was looking for some fun, but she was not good anymore in this state, so he tells her goodbye and left. She begs for him to stay, and she doesn't go after him. She sits down instead, having a mild panic attack. Everything is slowly turning into ashes. And then her friend sees Elizabeth tumbling on the streets and crying in public. She starts to call her, asking her what's wrong and what happened. She just cries her eyes out, and so she goes after her, letting her know that she's there to help her. She tries to calm her down, asking her what happened, and she says that she got dizzy for a moment. She tells her to sit down, asking if that's all that's happening, and so she says that she'd like to sit down for now. They go back to the park benches, and she thanks her friend for her help. She tells her to take a deep breath, asking her if she feels any better. She does, thanks to her. You know what? She noticed something earlier. She always heard that eyes can reflect our soul, and her eyes are telling her that she's very sick on the inside. She's in a real pickle. She's pregnant, and the father doesn't want anything to do with it. Every problem has a solution, and one problem is not the end of the world. We all deal with this and survive in the end. She failed with her husband, and it's inexcusable. She's sure that she'll get through, that she was like her once, that she was lost and powerless when she lost her mother last year, but she's still hanging in there. Her father beat her mother up when he heard that she was pregnant by someone else. That made her think that she doesn't want to be a mom, that she doesn't want that to happen to her. She dreamed about having a family, having a man who loved her. She didn't know that she couldn't be a mother, and she nods. How ironic, her friend wants to be a mother and can't, and she doesn't want to but she's about to. She learned in her life that we should be happy with what we get, and Elizabeth thanks her for this, and she thinks she can help her with her dream. She doesn't follow, but Elizabeth tells her that she's pregnant, that she's a woman who would like to have a baby. She wants to see where she's going with this, and Elizabeth tells her that she can make her dream come true, that she can't raise that child, but she could give her her baby, and that she knows that she'll take good care of him. She goes back home and she's surprised to see that her husband is waiting for her. She tries to act cool, but he wants distance from her. She asks him what happened, and he starts to tell Elizabeth that he asked her before and that he'll ask her again, asking her if she wants to tell him something. There isn't, and he can't believe that she'd do this. He wasted 20 years with her. He put his trust in her. He thought he could trust her. He is hurting her, so she begs Alan to let her go. Why, is he hurting her baby in some way? He demands an explanation, but she starts to cry, and she didn't know that he knew about it. She asks him how he found out. But that's not the question. The real question is, why did she betray him? There's a moment of silence, but then she says that he stopped loving her, and that has been months since he touched her. He turns this on her, saying that she stopped loving him because she didn't want to have a baby with him. Now she's pregnant from some John Doe. She never thought that she would get pregnant at her age. And Alan hopes that her lover is a better man than he is. She starts to beg him to forgive her, and he's not better than him. He always had eyes for her only, and he doesn't want her to touch him, telling her to stay right there. She can only beg for him to forgive her, and he tells her goodbye forever. She starts to cry out to him, to stay, to not leave her. It's in vain, and she breaks down, begging him not to leave her alone. She's happy to see that Danielle is there and that she accepted her proposal. She thought about it for a very long time. But she's happy to know that they'll be able to help each other out. She made a lot of mistakes in her life, but she knows that this ain't one, that she knows that Danielle will take good care of him. This isn't the end of the world, just another ending, and she sees it as a fresh start. She can rest assured that she and her husband are going to take good care of her baby, and that this is the angel that they asked from God. She's happy to hear it. We sometimes make mistakes that we can't undo. We sometimes treat badly the people we love, and the consequences can be hard, but there's always a new path to take and a new story to write.